Good old-fashioned hate. I don't say clean old-fashioned hate. It is good old-fashioned hate between Georgia and Georgia Tech. Guys, these are two programs that they don't like one another. I know growing up in the state of Georgia that the fan bases don't like one another. It's been pretty lopsided as of late, with Georgia dominating this rivalry for the most part. You have to go back to Kirby's first year for Georgia Tech to have some success in this. So Georgia comes in a 23-point favorite as they go on the road to Georgia Tech. 60.5 is the over-under according to Bet Online. Guys, this is getting a little ABC, night game love. This is going to be 7:30. So under the lights there in Atlanta on ABC. Probably have Chris and Herbie calling that one. So it's going to be an interesting deal there in terms of the presentation. Tech is already bowl eligible, so they don't have that to play for, but they do have the role of spoiler to play for. Georgia coming in here, they haven't won 28 games in a row. They're looking for their 29th win in a row, which would set an SEC record and break a tie that they entered into last week with Alabama, who's done it, I believe, twice before. So Georgia looking to set the all-time win streak record inside of the SEC in terms of overall games won in a row as an SEC team. So something that they have to, just try to take in the moment, as Kirby Smart says, and can't look ahead, can't get caught looking ahead to an Alabama team in the SEC championship game where they'll be right back in Atlanta after this next week. So let's see what can happen here with Georgia and Georgia Tech. Let's look when Georgia has the football. My goodness, guys, nearly 9 yards per pass play, which is unheard of. I'm talking about adjusting for sacks and everything, just under 9 yards per pass play. Georgia is tremendous with Carson Beck. You got guys like Dylan Bell stepping up this past week. Brock Bowers is back and healthy. We'll see if Ladd McConkey's full go. I think they rested him a little bit. He had an ankle, kind of lingering from a previous game, is what Kirby Smart said. And then you're talking about running the football. Kendall Milton, Dejon Edwards have started to pound the football behind an offensive line that can go literally 8 deep. 8, maybe 9 deep, guys. They can just keep rolling in 4- and 5-star guys and hammering it home. But I think the biggest thing about this Georgia offense is that they've been able to just be a lead on third down. Best in the country, almost 57%. Guys, that is unheard of. 57% conversion rate on third down. Carson Beck is just making good decision after good decision. Mike Bobo designing up things where, hey, he's using what the defense likes to do against them, and just has answers for everything. It seems like Carson Beck has a cheat sheet there where he's able to look ahead and take advantage of stuff. Georgia Tech has not been good on third down. They've allowed people to convert 42.57% of the time. One thing Georgia Tech has done is they've turned people over 2.7% of the time. They've forced turnovers. That is a really, really nice rate. So Georgia Tech is opportunistic. They're going to need to force some turnovers in this one, but they have been dreadful against the run, guys. The Georgia Tech run defense last in the ACC, 5.3 yards per run play when you adjust for sacks and things like that. So, and they're giving up just under 8 yards per pass play. So Georgia Tech, not an elite on defense, is not the better side of their team over here. However, I will say that, Buster Faulkner, the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, he has been at Georgia the last few years. He knows that Georgia offense intimately. So I'm sure he will share with Brent Key and the defensive staff over there at Georgia Tech as much as he can about that Georgia offense and see if that helps them out any. But guys, if we want to help you out with your betting news, your betting picks, your availability, access to it, so go check out Bet Online, our partner over there. The last of the pro sports, NBA has kicked off, guys. It's rolling now. That in-season tournament, all that stuff. College basketball is up and going. You got the Maui Invitational about to start. You can bet on that. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL, it's all in full swing. Bet Online is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All your hoops betting action, along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access. So you get it on your computer, get it on your phone, bet online. You need to head on over there, guys. And we got a little promo code for you. You can head over there today and use our promo code BELIEVE. We're a part of the BELIEVE network. BELIEVE does great content, great stuff, and they have great partnerships like this one with Bet Online. So use BELIEVE, BLEAV. That's all caps, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, guys, offensively, like I said, I expect Georgia to kind of roll in this one. The question is, can Georgia Tech do some good things offensively? Because Haynes King and this Georgia Tech offense have been playing fairly well. They convert at a decent rate on third down, 45.45%. They're able to throw the football a little bit. And I think when you have Buster Faulkner there dialing up some plays and things like that, Buster knows what Kirby and Glenn Schumann and stuff like to do defensively. He knows what stresses that defense once again it every day in practice. So there's a little inside baseball here and a little bit of element of that I think you have to take into account. And like I said, at different times, guys, Georgia Tech has not played bad football, especially on the offensive side of things. There's been times where they've been explosive. So can they find ways to create big plays on Georgia? Something that people haven't done a whole lot. Now, I know that you're not talking about banner defense in North Carolina, but this is a Georgia Tech team that put up 46 points on North Carolina. This is also a Georgia Tech team that lost to Bowling Green, as my friend Eddie from Ackworth likes to point out. So, a common opponent. They both played Ole Miss. Ole Miss was able to beat them 48-23, and that was with Ole Miss having some players out. Of course, Georgia Tech beat Miami, but at different times, guys, it's been Haynes King that has been able to create with his legs. So this Georgia Tech offense with Haynes King hasn't been elite, but in spurts, it's been dynamic. So can Haynes King avoid pressure? Georgia isn't a pressure-oriented defense, okay? They don't just come after you all the time. Only one sack last week against Tennessee and Joe Milton, but they just constrict the amount of space you have. They're like a boa constrictor. All of a sudden, they're wrapped around you, and you just can't breathe. It's not that Georgia's going to blitz you to death. They're going to run a bunch of stunts or anything like that. They're just going to dominate on the line of scrimmage and try to prevent you from running the football. Like I said, Georgia Tech, I know that Buster Faulkner is going to have a good plan. He may even have an opening script. Listen, everybody comes out there and dominates that opening script against Georgia. You look at Tennessee, took one play, 75 yards to the house. So people are having success early against this Georgia defense. How do these young linebackers and C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson step up? A road game here, another environment, another opportunity. Little bit better as Jamon Dumas-Johnson is on the mend with that fractured arm. They're going to have to play here for the foreseeable future. So C.J. Allen, I think a very talented guy. I posted on X, during the game against Tennessee, future first rounder. I mean, I think he's that kind of talented guy, a tremendous athlete, but Georgia just has to continue to have inspired play from those safeties that are the best unit in America, in my opinion. When you're talking about Javon Bullard, Tyke Smith, Malachi Starks. So Tech's going to try to hit some they're going to try to hit some gadget plays. They're going to try to hit trick plays. There's going to be everything poured out of the bag for Buster Faulkner there in Atlanta. We'll see how this one turns out in terms of their success and their ability to sustain success. Georgia Tech's going to have to turn Georgia over to have any chance in this one, in my opinion. But ultimately, I think the Dogs come out. Maybe with a night game, maybe the Georgia Tech crowd, we'll see how much of it is a Georgia Tech crowd. Georgia tends to kind of take over when Georgia and Georgia Tech play each other. A lot of red in that stadium down in Bobby Dodd. So we'll see what the crowd split looks like. But night game, there should be some juice in this environment, and we'll see what happens. But I think Georgia ultimately ends up pulling away and winning this one. As they got bigger fish to fry, so I'm not sure they're worried about covering in this one. You could see Georgia just kind of pound it and sit on the butt, especially as bad as Georgia Tech has been against the run, worst in the ACC. I think it'll be interesting to see the game plan here and the game flow. But Georgia's going to win. It's just about how much. So give me the Dogs to win down in Bobby Dodd. I don't know. 23 is a lot of points. I don't know that I'd touch it, guys. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Remember, we're presented by Bet Online. And we'll catch you guys next time to talk more SEC football right here on Southeastern 14.